Welcome to Glintree. Mornings can be, well, let's be honest, a little chaotic. The alarm goes off before you've even opened your eyes. Your phone starts buzzing with notifications, and somewhere in the mix, your dog is barking like the world is ending. You stumble out of bed, trip over slippers, and somehow manage to knock over the water glass from last night. By the time you even brush your teeth, it feels like you've already lived through half a day's worth of little disasters. Sound familiar? Don't worry, you're not alone. But here's the thing, mornings don't have to feel like a comedy of errors. What if we treated them as a gentle invitation instead of a race against the clock? What if you could start your day with calm, a little humor, and even a touch of joy before the chaos of errands, emails, or appointments takes over? Today, I'm going to share 7 gentle morning routines that can help you do exactly that. No extreme exercises, no expensive apps, no complicated hacks, just small, real-life habits that you can try immediately. These are routines I've tested myself, sometimes successfully, sometimes, let's say, humorously, and they help set a calmer tone for the day. Picture this: opening the blinds to let sunlight pour in, while your cat or dog gives you that, "Really? Already?" Or sitting down with a warm cup of tea, noticing the silence for the first time in days, before the phone buzzes again. Little moments like these can change the way your morning feels, and maybe even make you chuckle along the way. So grab your coffee or tea, settle into your slippers, and let's explore 7 gentle routines that can help you start your day calmly, joyfully, and with a little laughter even if your alarm has other plans. 1. Calm your morning chaos. Picture this. You wake up, shuffle into the kitchen, and before you know it, you're juggling the coffee machine, the TV remote, and yesterday's mail all at once. The coffee machine is making noises like it's preparing for liftoff, the TV remote refuses to cooperate, and the mail suddenly feels like it needs urgent attention, all before 8 a.m. The whole room feels like chaos. Sound familiar? I've been there. In fact, I once spent a good 10 minutes hunting down my glasses, opening every drawer and checking every counter, only to discover, you guessed it, they were on top of my head the whole time. I wish I could say that only happened once, but let's be honest, it's kind of a recurring theme. Or here's another classic. I tried to play some calming morning music on the radio, and somehow it switched to a loud talk show about traffic jams. Informative? Sure. Relaxing? Not exactly. So here's what I started doing instead. Before I let the chaos creep in, I set the atmosphere. I opened the blinds just a bit to let in the morning light, not too much, because let's be real, some mornings the sun is a little too aggressive. Then, I put on some soft music, usually old jazz or Breakfast at Tiffany's Moon River, something with a little swing that makes me feel like I'm in a movie, instead of just standing in my kitchen in a bathrobe. And I light a small candle on the table. And you know what? The moment I do this, the room feels different. Less rushed, more welcoming. Like my home itself is saying, "Good morning, back to me." Of course, sometimes these little rituals come with their own adventures. One morning, I lit the candle right next to my reading glasses, almost melted them into a modern art sculpture. The good news? The house smelled like lavender instead of panic. 2 gentle moves to wake your body. Now, let's talk about the body. Because let's face it, mornings are also when everything feels a little stiff. Honestly, some days I wake up moving like a rusty robot who desperately needs oiling. That first walk to the kitchen sometimes sounds like a symphony of creaks and cracks, and not the musical kind. So here's my little routine. While the kettle heats, I roll my shoulders forward 5 times, then backward 5 times. It's nothing fancy, but it feels like I'm brushing off the stiffness of sleep. Then I lift my heels up and down at the kitchen counter, slowly, like I'm pretending to reach for cookies on the top shelf. Sometimes I do 2 lifts, sometimes 10, depending on the morning. No pressure, no routine police keeping score. And the effect? My joints feel looser, my body feels a bit lighter, and suddenly walking across the room doesn't feel like an Olympic event. I don't creak as much when I sit down later, which honestly feels like a small miracle. But here's the funny part. Once, I decided to add some arm circles to the mix. My dog was watching, and I swear he gave me the most judgmental look a dog could possibly give. I could practically hear him thinking, "What on earth is this human doing?" 3. Breathe and reset your mind. Now, mornings aren't just about the body. They're about the mind, too. After all, our thoughts need a little stretch as much as our muscles do. So, I take a pause. For just 3 minutes, I sit quietly with my tea or coffee. No phone, no TV, no to-do list. Just breathing and sipping slowly. Sometimes I watch the birds outside the window. Sometimes I just listen to the hum of the fridge. It feels like pressing the reset button on my thoughts. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, I feel centered, calmer, like my brain is finally caught up with my body. And even 2 minutes makes a difference. Of course, sometimes these mindful moments don't exactly go as planned. One morning, my neighbor decided to mow the lawn at 7 a.m. So instead of serene silence, I got a free soundtrack of vroom, vroom, vroom. Hey, at least he's consistent. 4. Quick journaling for joy. Another favorite part of my mornings is writing. Not a novel, not a diary of secrets, just a note. I keep a small notebook in the kitchen, and each morning I jot something down. Sometimes it's a gratitude list. Sometimes it's a silly memory. Sometimes it's just one line. Writing tiny things like this helps me notice joys I usually ignore. The smell of coffee, the way sunlight hits the table, the fact that my plant survived another night. Later, when I flip back through the notebook, I end up smiling at these little treasures. Of course, not every note is poetic. One day I wrote, "Grateful for McDonald's breakfast." Maybe not deep, but definitely honest. Another day, "Grateful my cat is doing well." Writing these small things keeps me present and occasionally laughing at myself. 5. Simplify your day, stress less. Now, here's something that truly changed my mornings. Planning less. For years, I made long to-do lists that looked more like punishment than planning. They were overwhelming, and by the end of the day, I felt defeated if I didn't check everything off. So now, I pick just one main focus for the day. That's it. Maybe it's calling my friend, maybe it's folding the laundry, maybe it's going for a short walk. Just one. And suddenly, the day feels manageable instead of impossible. Completing that one thing feels like a victory, not a failure. And sometimes, the important thing is delightfully simple. One of my best days ever? The only task on my list was take a nap. Best productivity system I've ever invented. 6. Mindful breakfast moments. Let's move to breakfast. Honestly, many seniors try to keep breakfast simple, sometimes standing in the kitchen with a bowl of cereal or a piece of toast while glancing over the newspaper or mail. It's a little like a morning multitasking Olympics. Now, I try to actually sit down. Even if it's just a bowl of cereal, I sit at the table and eat slowly. No multitasking, no rushing, just respecting myself enough to enjoy food properly. Of course, even breakfast has its adventures. One morning, I accidentally put salt in my oatmeal instead of sugar. Let's just say the birds outside enjoyed a 5-star breakfast. Now I double-check the labels. 7. Add a little morning happiness. Finally, mornings need a touch of joy. Something small that makes you smile right away. For me, it's watering my plants. Sometimes I hum a little tune. Sometimes I even greet them with a cheerful, "Good morning, buddy. Keep hanging in there." My plant has probably survived more from pep talks than water. For you, maybe it's playing with your pet, calling a friend, or listening to a favorite old song. The point isn't what you do, it's that you give yourself a small, intentional joy. Even if the rest of the day goes sideways, you've already had a bright spot. So, friends, that's my gentle morning routine. Set the atmosphere, move a little, breathe, write, plan gently, eat with intention, and add joy. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme, just small, real, human moments. And if you'd like a simple way to track your own routines, I created a morning routine reflection template. It's a printable that helps you jot down what works best for you without overcomplicating things. You'll find the link below. Remember, mornings don't have to be perfect. They don't need to look like anyone else's. They just need to start gently, in a way that makes you feel calm and ready. And if your coffee machine makes spaceship noises, well, at least you've got an exciting launch to start your day. Thanks for spending part of your morning with me. I'll see you in the next video. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons for Glintree for more thoughtful, practical tips to support your mind, body, and overall well-being. Glintree is here to support you every step of the way.